I'm your friendly neighborhood Web-Warrior Fanatic, and as you guys can see, we are at the new house right here with all the Marvel Champions set up. Still no furniture, but I want to make a quick update video for y'all because there's a lot of Marvel Champions news that's dropped. So I want to cover the Jessica Jones and Luke Cage pre-release. It's the first time that Fantasy Flight Games will be dropping hero packs early, but only if you attend Gen Con. And I also want to go over the new rules reference guide 1.8 that sneakily dropped. I don't even know when it dropped. I think it was like last night or like yesterday or something like that. But we'll be going over like the five most relevant rules in the. I think there's like five major changes, and then everything else is pretty much the exact same. So yeah, if you guys enjoy my consistent Marvel Champions coverage, a little bit less consistent these days, but hopefully still trying to get that consistency there and give you guys updates for any new news for the game. Please consider subscribing and liking the video. It really helps the channel out. So let's jump into here. This is a post by Olivia from Fantasy Flight Games, and she posted this to the Reddit for the Marvel Champions subreddit here, and it just says, find us at booth 817 for a pre-release of the Jessica Jones and Luke Cage hero packs for Marvel Champions. So you can get your hands on the hero packs 2 weeks before their official release. Gen Con is going to be July 30th to August 2nd. I won't be able to attend, but for anyone that is able to go, I mean, that's gonna be really cool to be able to get these hero packs way early, like 2 weeks early. This is the first time that they ever done that. So yeah, this is just some news here on the subreddit that FFG Olivia posted. And if you're going to Gen Con, you guys can also get these really cool new Daredevil promos that Fantasy Flight Games has dropped on their social medias as well. So yeah, they're really making the Gen Cons feel like it's really cool if you go to the Fantasy Flight Games booth, and really making me jealous for not being able to go. But yeah, I mean, I hope everyone that's able to go is able to get their packs early, get some really cool promos, and I hope you guys are able to enjoy that. But yeah, that's just super duper cool that I mean they're doing that. Yeah, I mean it's the first time they're doing this, so I don't know if they're trying. I feel they've been doing a lot of like new marketing type of stuff for the Sphere Evil wave, so I think that makes sense. So that's pretty cool. Let's hop over to the new rulings here. So we're at the rules reference guide. And I think the biggest change in the rulings right here is going to be if a player deck includes an identity specific card, that's considered to match according to uniqueness. An identity chosen by a player setup may replace the matching card in their deck with a card with the team up keyword that names both their own identity and the other player's identity. So what does that mean? That basically means, let's say you are playing the Echo Hero right here, and you are pairing that with Daredevil, right? So either you're doing like a two-handed game, or you're playing like a multiplayer game, and someone else is playing Daredevil, and you are playing Echo right here, right? So whenever you're doing that, normally in Marvel Champions, there's a rule you have to include all of your 15 identity-specific cards. So you must include this Daredevil ally right here, who's the 1 out of 15 card for Echo. So you always include this ally, in your deck. You can never take out any identity cards when you're playing Marvel Champions. That's never happened before until now with this new ruling, because Daredevil is a unique card and it matches another player who's playing Daredevil, the same Daredevil there, matching that uniqueness right there, right? So the identity specific card is considered to match, right? So whenever we got that going on, we're actually allowed to, for the first time, take out this Daredevil from your deck. You don't have to include this in your deck anymore. And the reason why you want to do that is because of the unique rule. You can never play, you can't have two matching characters in play at the same time. So if you're playing with the Daredevil hero and you're playing Echo, you can never play this ally. This ally is always going to be a dead card in your hand. And tons of people in the community, myself included, we're not a big fan of that, and I know a lot of people would house rule where they'll take out the card anyways, because it just feels weird having this card that you can never ever play. It's always going to be a dead card because there's another Daredevil, or there's a Daredevil player, sitting at a table and you're playing Echo. So now, for the first time, you can actually take this out of your deck during deck building, and you can replace it with a team up card with those two people. So you can now put in, for example, here, See No Evil, Hero Evil, the team between Daredevil and Echo, max one per deck. So now you can actually, instead of putting this card in, like adding it into your deck, you have your 15 identity specific cards, and this goes into one of those, one of the 40 cards that you must have for the minimum of your deck size. Now, this is one of those 15 cards now. So you can still include 25 other cards in your deck, 15 plus 25 to make that a 40 card deck size. But you get to remove this essentially always dead card from your deck if you want to. And yeah, I mean, I think that's awesome. Like, you don't have to do that, but it's really cool that you have that option now. And it's a house that a lot of people have already been doing. Some people have told me, that they're doing this, that they've been doing this, but now it's official. You can actually just not do that. So you don't have to worry about drawing these dead allies if you're playing a super thematic game. Usually it's like the most thematic games where you have um, the hero with their identity ally, right? If you're playing Echo with the Daredevil hero, that's very thematic. So it makes sense that you don't have to have this deck card anymore. You can swap it up with the team up card with the new official ruling here with deck customization in the rules reference guide 1.8. So yeah, that's really cool. Okay, so the next big change is the surge ruling has changed here. And okay, so let me go over how Surge used to work. So we're gonna look at Under Fire here. This is, one of my most hated cards. It's a pretty rough card from the Expert encounter set. So Under Fire says Surge. When reviewed, review the top card of the encounter deck. So you guys don't know how Surge normally work. Whenever you review Under Fire, what you do is you trigger the Surge first. And when you trigger Surge, you just flip the top card of the encounter deck and then you reveal it. Okay? Then you would do whatever that new card is. That card says, exhaust identity, blah, blah, you do all those effects. Then after you resolve that card and Surge is resolved, then you do this one reviewed effect to reveal the top card of the encounter deck. So you Surge, and then you review the top card of the encounter deck. So you essentially get 2 encounter cards, but if that Surge brings another encounter card that surges, then you do that Surge first. You basically just keep on doing all those stuff first, and after you fully resolve the Surge, then you do this one reviewed effect right there. So I know a lot of people, and I play games with people too, that got confused with that. And I also get confused with that. That's a pretty confusing thing because Surge is like review the top card of the encounter deck. It's not like, but it's kind of happening simultaneously with this one review effect to review the top card of the encounter deck. So it's kind of like, which one do you do first? You just kind of got to know that the Surge one happens first, right? So now it's changed here. So it says when an encounter card with this keyword, with the Surge keyword is reviewed, the player resolving the card deals himself a face down encounter card from the top of the encounter deck. That's huge, and I think that's awesome for just making things more simple. So now whenever you review Under Fire, you trigger Surge, you deal yourself face down encounter card. Then you do one reviewed effect here to review the top card of the encounter deck. So that's awesome. Now there's no like confusion in terms of like what's the order? Do I have to do the Surge card first? Do I do the one reviewed effect first and review that encounter card first? Super simple, right? Whenever you Surge, you do yourself the face down encounter card. The encounter card is face down in front of you, so you're not going to reveal it yet. And then you trigger the one reviewed here, then fire where you reveal the top card of the encounter deck. And then after you resolve that card, if you're in the phase where you're revealing all face down encounter cards, then you would review that encounter card as well. If you're not in that step, of the villain phase, then you don't have to review that face down encounter card because that only flips whenever you are in that step of flipping all your face down encounter cards. So yeah, pretty simple to just have it face down. I really like that change for Surge. It's probably my favorite change that we've seen here, just because it's such a complex and like annoying thing. So it's just nice to have this cleared up here. And I mean, it just literally changed. So it says here the Surge keyword is also equivalent to the following triggered ability. One review, do yourself one face down encounter card. So essentially Under Fire here now says Surge, aka one review, do yourself face down encounter card, and then one reviewed, review the top card of the encounter deck. So it's kind of like it's 2 different effects still, because this one is revealing the top card, and one of them is dealing yourself face down encounter card. But now you can trigger stuff like Enhanced Spiral Sense, which can only cancel the one reviewed effects of an encounter card to cancel that one reviewed effect, because Surge is now essentially a one reviewed effect. So one of my biggest, gripes with Enhanced Spiral Sense and cards that cancel encounter cards is that a lot of times they only cancel the one review effect and they don't cancel Surges. So that can be tough. Like Doctor Strange says, cancel his Protective Ward, cancels the entire encounter card, which is pretty nice. And I wish that Enhanced Spiral Sense did that. But now it's kind of the same thing because Enhanced Spiral Sense also cancels out the Surge here, which is now officially one reviewed. If there's other parts of the card, then it won't cancel it, but it does cancel out the one reviewed effect. So That's pretty interesting there. I think that's a nice like buff here for the player, in addition to just making the like timing window and everything more clear. So that's a really cool addition here to the game, just to make things more simple, especially for newer players. Like I know I played Surge wrong for such a long time, but yeah, it's all fixed here, so that's really cool. Let's move on to the third relevant ruling and overkill. So to look at this one, we need to look at the older ruling for overkill. So this is rules 1.7 right here. And it just basically says that, if a minion takes amount of extra damage from an attack with the overkill keyword, you simultaneously deal damage equal to the extra damage to the villain. So that all happens at the same time. And I think where this makes the biggest difference is on Ultron here for extra mill if you're facing stage 3. It says here, Ultron cannot take damage while a drone minion is in play. So if you have a drone minion in front of Ultron right here, and you do, like let's say 5 damage to the minion, and you have overkill of like let's say 3 damage, right? So you overkill, and then that 3 damage should go over to Ultron normally, but because of how the overkill ruling works, it's simultaneously dealt. The minion is technically still in play, like that drone minion, while you are dealing damage to Ultron. So the ruling before this was that Ultron could not take overkill damage in stage 3 if you're overkilling a drone minion, which feels really bad because I feel like it makes sense that if that is the last drone minion and you're defeating it and you're punching it so hard that you're overkilling over Ultron, it makes sense to actually be able to do the damage to Ultron. But with the ruling that it's simultaneously dealt that damage, then you can't do it. Here, it no longer says that it's simultaneously dealt, so I'm pretty sure that you actually can do the damage now, the overkill damage to Ultron from defeating that minion. So it says here, if a minion is defeated by an attack with the overkill keyword, deal any damage on that minion beyond its hit points to the villain. It doesn't say anything about simultaneous now. And it says the overkill keyword is now equivalent to the following ability. If this attack defeats an ally, then you do the damage beyond its hit points to identity of the ally controller. If this attack defeats a minion, then do the damage beyond its hit points to the villain. So I think I could be wrong. Let me know, guys, down in the comments, because these are all still like new rulings. But I think that now this clarifies it and makes it a little bit more beneficial for a player, to where there's stuff that if you actually defeat that minion, they're defeated, and you can do that extra damage to the villain. Even normally, or with the old ruling, you wouldn't have been able to with stuff like Ultron, because if the villain or the minion has some sort of effect that prevents damage from being dealt to the villain whenever that minion is in play or whatever, then it wouldn't be able to work. But I believe that it works now. So that's another like huge buff for the players. Everything here is kind of just helping the players out. Very beneficial, like useful effects that all help the players out. Let's move on to the next ruling here. And it's going to be with Quickstrike in specific, but a lot of other time windows got like clarified for us. But Quickstrike is the most important one here. So it says, you guys know how Quickstrike works from our champions, but Quickstrike is now equivalent to the following trigger ability. So there's a specific time window now for Quickstrike, which is once again really beneficial for a player. It says force response, in hero form. So this only triggers if you're in hero form. This would be like the text basically on the minion that has Quickstrike, like the replacement of that. After this minion engages a player, it attacks that player. So if you're an alter ego, then obviously you still won't trigger this as it stands before. But now it says force response, so it's in the same timing window as force responses, which means that Quickstrike got slower now. Now you can actually intercept stuff, like intercept Quickstrike hits with like any type of interrupt, because that happens before a force response. So you have an ability that can block out the minion, like as interrupt when it enters play, then you can counter that. It says if a minion with the Quickstrike keyword is being reviewed, the Quickstrike keyword resolves after any one reviewed abilities on that minion are resolved. Just clarify for us that it is a force response that happens after the minion enters play, which is the time window that's after one review ability. So yeah, another crazy like thing that helps out the player. Let's look up Iceman here, the protection ally. So he says here, after a minion enters play, remove one freeze counter from Iceman, and you can stun that minion. So unfortunately, Iceman still is useless because he cannot stun a Quickstrike minion, because this is a response here, and the time window for responses is gonna be after the time window for force responses. So actually, the minion is still gonna Quickstrike you, and then after the minion Quickstrikes you, then you can trigger Iceman. and place a freeze counter, or remove a freeze counter, I mean, to stun that minion. But let's look at Widow's Bite here and see how that applies. So after a minion enters play, discard Widow's Bite, deal 2 damage to a minion and stun it. So Widow's Bite here is still too slow as well because it's a hero response, and that's gonna be the time window for this. It's gonna be a little bit slower than a force response of the Quickstrike minion, right? So when a minion enters play, it's gonna trigger its force response. After it engages the player, it attacks the player. That will happen first, and then you can Widow's Bite and stun it after. So yeah, another like unfortunate type of thing that kind of happens after to get that stun effect from Iceman and Black Widow off. And then let's go over the fifth and final like big change, which is on Iron Man here. So it says Iron Man should read, you get +1 hand size for each tech up you control, up to a max of +6 hand size. And it's changed now. So the old text for Iron Man from the core set for this hero is you get +1 hand size for each tech up you control, up to a max hand size of 7. So if you have 6 techs, then you get +6 hand size, so you go up to a hand size of 7. But because they're working on this, you can't actually increase this hand size even further, right? So like if you have a hand size of 7 with Iron Man with this text alone, if you play like a symbiote, so you get +1 more hand size, you actually cannot go to a hand size of 8 with Iron Man. Other heroes, you can expand their hand size. It's unlimited, right? You get to like 8, 9, 10 hand size. But Iron Man, because it says to a max hand size of 7, the ruling for this was that you can never go beyond a hand size of 7, even if you have other artificial means to increase a hand size, which is kind of unfortunate for Iron Man, and it felt like kind of unfair because he's already building out his hand size with all the techs. Why can't you get the benefit of like a symbiote suit and other stuff, like assess the situation to increase the hand size even further? Well, now you can. It just says to a max of +6. So now it just says for each tech upgrade, you can get up to a max of +6, which means that there is no max hand size of 7. So if you get other stuff like the symbiote suit, assess the situation, then you can increase Iron Man's hand size even further and get him really even more built, I guess, to like 8, 9, 10 hand size. So yeah, all right, guys, that is it here with all the big changes here to the rules reference guide. There's not too many crazy things, but I think that a lot of these things were actually just helpful for the player, right? Like sometimes we get rules reference guides that are like, not good for the player. Like it makes the game harder. The rules might get more convoluted, but also like a lot of the rulings would change or be clarified in a type of way where like it doesn't benefit the player, right? It benefits the villain and the encounter cards. But it seems like all the ones here are actually pretty helpful for the player, which is good to see. I mean, I think the game is definitely turning towards a more player oriented, identity specific card oriented, like that type of, I don't know. The villains are getting a little bit weaker, heroes are getting stronger, and rulings are kind of changing to being more beneficial for a player. I do like that they're being more that the rulings are more clarified now. I think that's a great thing. But yeah, just very very player oriented these days. So yeah, that's gonna be it here for this video, guys. Let me know down in the comments what you think about these new rule changes here, these relevant ones, and let me know if you're gonna go to Gen Con too and pick up a new or a early hero pack of Jessica Jones and Luke Cage. That is really cool to see. I hope you guys all like this video. I'll see you guys all in the next one.